Hi everyone, my name is Imani Black. I'm a photographer and videographer based in Dallas, Texas. Today I'm going to be sharing my top 10 tips on how to start your photography business and get clients. And this video is specifically for beginners because we all have to start somewhere, you know? I've been doing this professionally since 2017. I do want to share that with all of these tips. This is going to take some time. It might even take years, but I do want to provide this information because I learned by trial and error, but if there was a video or someone who looked like me who gave this information, I may have listened. I don't know. But I want to share this information because we are not gatekeeping. Whether you're a beginner, restarting your photography business, or just interested in hearing this information is for you. I've gone from doing free photo shoots to $30 photo shoots to being in art galleries to being able to do my business full time. I'm giving my top 10 tips, and I'm also going to share, like, should you have a physical business card in this digital age where they have, like, you know, the card, the magnet card, business cards, the ones you just scan a QR code, you know, things like that. Also going to be answering, like, should you be doing free work even if you've been doing your photography business for years? Stay tuned for those answers. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Share this with a friend or a family member, someone who you think could benefit from this information. Now, let's jump in. My first number one tip is to define your photography skill set. What do you like to shoot? What do you want to shoot? What do you want to be booked for in the future? Do you want to be known for boudoir, sports, real estate, portraits, events, corporate events? Like, there's a lot of different niches within photography. My niche is creative portraits and event photography. So that can be events such as concerts, private gatherings, or even corporate events, but just events overall. What are you good at? What do you want to be good at? Define this in your head so you can think about what you want to be known for, which goes into my next tip, which is once you figure out what you like to shoot, what you want to shoot, what you want to get booked for, is to create a photo project that's in alignment with what you want to do. How can people know you're a photographer if you don't have any projects? If you're only relying on client work, how are you going to get clients if you're not getting clients? Like, you have to start somewhere. One of the ways you can start somewhere is by gathering your friends, some models, whatever you need to do, and build a project for yourself, a photography project for yourself. In my journey as a photographer, I've been putting out a photography project every year since 2017. Picture this, I was about to graduate from college. I've been doing photography all my life, but I've never been paid for a photo shoot. Didn't even know you can make money as a photographer, to be honest. I saw my peers around me. It felt like they were kind of doing photography for a cash grab, and I was definitely more passionate about it. So I was like, I need to start my photography business. What are we talking about? So I got my camera, got my equipment and everything else, and I began doing it professionally in 2017. I was like, I knew I was graduating soon, and I knew I would want to have like a side hustle to be able to earn extra income when I was working a full-time job. But how was I going to get clients if I had never did a photo shoot or never really had a body of work to really showcase anyone? You know, a lot of people, you know, photography is a visual business. You can't just say, oh, I'm a photographer, because, like, I need to see what your work look like. What if you're a photographer and I don't know what your work looks like? We do a shoot and I just trust you, but you do just straight up black and white and I want it color, or you have a certain style, but I don't like it. You edit a certain type of way, but I don't like it. I don't know what your style is, what your look is, what you're capable of doing if you don't have a body of work or something to present to me that shows me as a client that, yeah, I do this type of work. This is what I do. This is how I shoot. One project that I want to touch on is the Black series, which is the project I started in 2017, showcasing my friends in the city that I lived in at the time. And I gathered my friends, did some cool shoots, and then I released the project that summer. And then that was my body of work. That was my presentation of what I'm capable of doing. I shared the project on VSCO, promoted it on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. I went from just having my photography shoots every year to doing $30 shoots, to getting into art galleries and having my work there and selling prints, to getting booked multiple times throughout the year, to being able to thrive as a full-time entrepreneur doing my photography and videography full-time, to now where I'm at the point where I just have limited availability only on the weekends because I'm pretty booked and I have a job. So, but I'm booked every weekend dang near. So it's amazing. Look at photo projects as musical albums. It reflects your current style, your current ideal subject, and your progression overall. And it helps you build momentum so you can have the momentum with yourself, but also to showcase to the world that you are serious as a photographer and you do this every year. Even if it's not a paid photo shoot, you still gonna put out your project. These don't have to be paid photo shoots that you have. Like, this doesn't have to be client work. These are photo projects for you to showcase your skills, to bring your ideas to life. If you're interested in seeing my journey in my photo project, I encourage you to visit my website, imaniblack.com, and check out my Black series area of my website, because that's my photo project. I show the gradual progression, and I think it's a really cool thing to look at. And I'll also leave it linked down below. In summary, my second tip is to create bodies of work that showcase you as a photographer so you can see your progression and eventually get clients, or choose to sell your work as art. My next tip for getting clients is by defining who your ideal client is. Envision this person by asking yourself these questions. What kind of photography am I skilled at? How can I serve and provide value for these clients that I'm interested in working with? What are their typical budgets for photography? What are their typical needs for their photography as well? How can I provide that value for them? For me personally, I have a mix of clients and a mix of budgets for my clients, but I have a minimum range where I'm not even leaving the house if I don't get a certain amount. So define that with yourself. And that leads me into my next point is have business standards for yourself. Create a playbook for yourself. Create something that references your business standards. Define what your typical turnaround times are for different types of photo shoots. What's your dress code when you go to these photo shoots? How do you speak to clients? What's your pricing structure? How do you charge for photo shoots? How do you charge for ancillary things? How do you charge for backdrops and things like that, or even custom art? How do you charge for these things that are involved with your business and your photography as your art and your service? Identify these areas within yourself before you even have clients, so you just have like your own standard. So when you do get clients or you do have like these general conversations about yourself as a photographer, you already know how you come in. Something else in your business standards, your code of conduct basically is like, do you do discovery calls? Discovery calls are like initial conversations that you have with your potential clients, where you talk about basically the who, what, when, where, why, how of why you guys are working together. Most discovery calls include like these couple of things. What's the photo shoot concept? What's the client budget? What's your pricing? What's your standard turnaround times for things, and how you deliver them as well? So these are just typical things that you can just like kind of already be thinking about before you even have clients or have the business even set up. This is just so you have it for yourself. This is what's going to help you be successful and thrive, because you have this structure already to when you do get the moment, you already know how you going to come, how you going to be coming. Next tip is to network. Use your network. Your network is your net worth. Who you know matters. Word of mouth matters. When you go out to places, talk to people. Introduce yourself as a photographer or a videographer. Introduce yourself as the creative that you are, that you want to be addressed as or known as. Introduce yourself as that, and speak about what you do as a creative. Go to events that interest you, that you are genuinely interested in. And the reason why I say that is because you need to move from an authentic place. When you're doing things that feel forced or inauthentic to you, it just comes off as like weird when you're like plugging yourself into these like areas. And not everywhere you go you need to plug yourself in. I also will say that, but I feel like most of the times there's always opportunities to just introduce yourself, because it's a part of who you are. But put yourself in those areas where you actually are interested. So like me, I always inserted myself into my interests. I've curated art galleries. I've produced a documentary. I've done a lot of different things, but I have been known over these years as a photographer first and foremost, despite all of that, because I've produced projects. I've talked to people. I tell people stuff. But yeah, talk to people and network. You never know who you're in the room with. And you just need to talk. Even if you don't plug yourself in, like you don't have to. Like there are times where I just feel like, oh my God, this isn't the time to be talking about, oh, I'm a photographer. You know, there's a time and place for all of that, but you can still plug yourself in when it's appropriate. Network, talk to people, go out to events that you really like to attend. So for me, everything I do is pretty much for my business. It's always like kind of business related, because I am my business. Like I'm not only a photographer, but I do videography, modeling, and other things as well. So it's like I have like a business that's beyond photography. But photography is the biggest thing about my business. So I tell people, like, that's how I address myself. That's how I introduce myself to people, is that I'm a photographer. Majority of what I do is related to my photography business in some aspect. So it's all related. And, you know, I'll give another little quick tip. Don't start your LLC yet. I'll talk about that in another video, but don't start your LLC yet. I have my reasons. I think I have a video on here where I talk about why you shouldn't start an LLC. But when you do have your LLC, you can use QuickBooks, which is a really good accounting software tool. And there's a lot of write-offs that you can get for your gas mileage, because it's actually like, I drive a lot because of my business. I go to people, I go to places, I fly, So like that mileage adds up, but it's all related to my business. And that's what I want you to get. Like when you're out networking, don't see it as like just trying to like, go out, have fun, talk to people though. You don't have to always introduce yourself as a photographer and things like that, but just talk to people. You never know who you're going to meet. You never know who you're going to talk to. You never know how things are going to go. And, you can make a friend as well, which is always cool. But you can also make a business contact. Like they'll think of you when it comes to something in the future, just by you like opening your mouth and just talking, interacting with people, making going out a part of your business plan, because word of mouth is one of the top ways that you get clients. It's not just your website. It's not just your social media presence. It's not just who you are. It's about how you interact with people day to day too. I kind of slipped this into the last point, but my next tip is to have a website. And I say have a website because it looks way more professional for a photographer to not just have like a social media platform, but to also have a website. Because if Instagram goes down tomorrow, or one of these social media sites goes down tomorrow, you need to always be able to have your own way of standing on your own as a creative, which is your website. So what I use is Squarespace. I love Squarespace. I've been using it since 2018. It's a really robust platform that's super useful for me as a business owner. Because like I said, photography is not my only aspect of my business. It's part of the business. Those other things I do, like writing blog posts, sharing my photo projects, talking about other things I've done. Squarespace has been just a great platform for me over the years. But I know Squarespace can be a bit pricey for people. So I also want to give some more cost-effective platforms that I think are really good. Another one is format.com. I think they have really good templates. I was considering moving to them earlier this year, but Squarespace is just way more robust for me and what I like to do, especially like with having email campaigns too. But format.com is really good. I like their templates a lot. And it's a really like kind of well-priced platform to me, only like $10 or $12 a month, which is really cheap. If you don't want to buy a domain or pay for a subscription, I would definitely recommend using Wix.com. They're really good. I actually just built my friend's website on Wix.com. They have a free version where, it'll have like your title of your website .wixsite.com. And that's the only trade-off. But I think a photographer having like a Wix site in their title is still better than a photographer who doesn't have a website at all. Get your website, make it look legit, make it look nice, be legit about your business. It looks really good to your clients, and it'll help you take yourself more seriously as well. In addition to having your website, also have an Instagram, and might I even say Facebook, because people are on Facebook, y'all. Let me dive into this a little bit more. Social media is where the people are at. This is where you're most likely to get engagement as well. So people like looking, liking, commenting, engaging with your work. If you don't want to have multiple platforms, I would say Instagram is probably the most forefront, most visual platform that most people think of when it comes to like photography or just visual things in general. When you're using Instagram, I will always say post on Facebook too. People are on Facebook, y'all. And if you don't want to manage more than one, it's easy to just connect your Instagram and Facebook together because you can cross post, and they're very much seamlessly collaborative in this system. So you can like whatever you post on Instagram, it can go straight to Facebook, or vice versa. Whatever you post on Facebook can go to Instagram. So there's a way to connect it and to have a seamless process with having the both of those social sites. And then also, this is a little more intermediate, but when you start doing ads, Instagram and Facebook are really good with ads. They got that one. I'll give them that, even though I hate seeing them, but it shows me stuff that I like. So they have a really good algorithm when it comes to like ads. When you're using Instagram, be engaging. Go like and comment on other people's stuff and follow people as well, and follow people back. Use your stories to showcase your behind the scenes, your process, whatever you're doing. Post on the TL, use hashtags when you're posting on the TL. I recently taught a workshop where I discussed a holistic, mindful approach to using Instagram as a business owner. And one of the biggest things that I do want to stress is don't worry about likes and the algorithm and followers. Like, likes and followers on Instagram shouldn't really translate to what you want to do for your business and how you use it. I don't have a huge Instagram following at all. I don't even get a lot of likes on my pictures, but I stay booked. When people looking through them hashtags, they see me. I've been posting. I'm consistent. I use the right hashtags. I use hashtags like Dallas photographer, Houston photographer, Austin photographer, different things in different areas, just so I can be in those algorithms. So when people are searching, they're searching and they're looking and they find you. When you post your content, it needs to be visually appealing as well. But we can go on a whole like social media course for photographers. If you're interested in that, let me know. But I have a lot of tips about that. We're on tip number 7. And I just got to say, before I go into this next tip, if you really like this information and you find it helpful, go ahead and give this video a like, give it a comment. What have you found interesting so far? What am I missing from this video at this point? And subscribe to my channel for more content like this, because I'm sharing. I gotta talk. I've learned so much over the past couple of years of doing this, and I feel like I have so much value to give, to share, and that's why I want to create more informational content, because I like to listen to this type of stuff. So I hope somebody else finds this information valuable and can find some inspiration from it as well. And listen and take this advice and have a thriving business. So for tip number 7, have a business card. Yes, have a business card. You need a business card. You need a business card. Like, I still believe in business cards, even in this digital age. And, you know, I know people have those business cards where it's like you put the phone over it and then it just goes with a QR code. I don't know. I know there's different types of business cards, but I still believe in physical business cards. And let me tell you why. It is worth the investment to give people this physical, tangible piece of your contact information. There's so many different types of business cards these days as well, so that when you give people this tangible piece of you, basically, you are giving them something that's memorable. I have a background in advertising and sales, a lot of psychology that goes behind like why businesses do what they do. This should be a part of your like advertising strategy and just networking strategy. So when you go to these networking events, when you go out to these places, you have something to give people that represents you and it has your contact information. Having business cards looks official as well. And I know a lot of people are like, oh, I throw business cards away. A lot of people don't really value business cards or actually use them or keep them. You know, people say like you shouldn't have them, it's a waste and things like that. To me, business cards are worth the investment. A lot of people still use them to this day, and there's a lot of ways to customize your business cards as well. I recommend using moo.com. I've been using moo.com since 2018 for my business cards, and I want to find some pictures of like my progression with my business cards, but I've been using moo.com since 2018, and then this current format I have for my business cards I've been using since 2022. So here's my business card. So cute. Like, it's so me. And when I was designing it, I was like, what's my name? Imani Black. Okay, so why don't I put Imani on a black background? So it's like Imani Black. Like Imani, you know, like that's some branding. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, business cards are a chance to shine as well. But what if your business is super cool art photography? You have a chance to put your photography on the front of your business cards. I've seen some like that where it's like actual art. There's a lot of ways to customize these business cards to give that tangible, custom reminder of who you are as a business owner. I recommend moo.com. I recommend getting the sampler pack. That's what I did. Every time I'm ready to like redo my business cards, I get a sampler pack just to see what they have new and just to feel everything, because like, you know, for me, it's a psychology thing. You need to be able to touch and feel and things like that. With these business cards, I don't remember the texture, but to me, it's a unique texture. It's not just a typical flimsy business card. It's a little thick too. And I've had this transition into multiple ways, but with these business cards, every time I get my business card out to people literally 90% of the time comment on the texture of that card and the presentation. They like it. I'm going to get my money back that I invest in these business cards in one shoot. So like, I don't really have to like trip about it. Like, I'm gonna get my business cards because I'm gonna get my return on investment. So like, these $200 or $100 business cards, they're worth it. I also get like a lot of quantities now. Like, I think this was 200 business cards, so I think it was like a little bit under $200, including shipping, for these. So yeah, it's a bit pricey, but it's so worth it. I definitely recommend moo.com. Get that sampler pack. It's free. Figure out what you like, what you want people to feel. And remember, when you give people your business cards, you need to stand out. So don't give them no flimsy regular business card. You need to give them something that stands out. And that's just a little investment that you're going to have to do as a beginner. It will literally help you. I've been doing business cards since 2018. I didn't get booked until my first shoot until 2018, but I didn't start getting consistent clients until years later. But I always, every year, had business cards. It helps. Now we're getting into my final couple of tips that I think are super helpful. This next one is more about like work ethic in a sense. Follow up with people. When you get that business card, hit them up. Follow them on Instagram. Email them, especially if it's like someone older or like a business or something. Email them. Follow up with them so that even if they don't work with you right now, at least you're top of mind in the future. I literally I do this normally. Like I just like to do it. I'm gonna follow up regardless. Once you follow up, you don't hear a response. It's okay to follow up. I would say at least twice, just twice. After that, it's weird. But I would say just follow up. Like following up as a business owner, you just have to. People do get busy. People forget, or people are still making decisions when they don't respond to you sometimes. They may want to work with you in the future once they're actually ready to make a decision. Or even if they don't use you in that moment and they go forward with someone else, you never know. This could still come back to you eventually, all because you chose to follow up. A lot of people get business cards and don't follow up, don't reach out, expect to be reached out to. You got to follow up with them. You got to reach out to them. You got to be unafraid to start the conversation first. Because if you wait on somebody to talk to you all the time, let me know how that works for you, because you may not be having a lot of photo shoots. You may not be making a lot of connections. You may not have those opportunities versus somebody like me who gonna sit up there, who gonna email them twice, who gonna email them once to follow up. They don't respond. Okay, cool. I'm gonna email them twice and then I'm gonna leave it alone. And then you know what? When they're ready, they're gonna hit me up versus somebody that they gave their business card to. You may not even have your business card yet, or you gave them to them, but you didn't follow up. You didn't make that connection. You didn't solidify it. You got to do this stuff. This is a part of like not only like this is part of business acumen. Like this is like business 101 in a sense, because this is how it's about moving authentically and making genuine connections. That's how I like to move in my business. And I don't do things that I don't want to do. I don't work with people I don't want to work with. So you need to just go ahead and develop this now. Just get the strength and develop these skills right now, because these are going to help you as you continue growing. This is a one-to-one type of business to me, very personable in a sense, because people talk about their insecurities. You listen to why they want to do the photo shoots. So, you it's a personable business, and you want to establish connections with people so they feel comfortable in front of you and they're going to show their best self. If you have these discovery calls, if you do these different things, these can help you be successful and be the go-to photographer for people. All right. I done top my head off, but I'm not done. I'm not done, but I am on my last tip. And before I get into this last tip, let me know below, just comment below something that you found interesting so far in this video, and let me know what you think about this last tip that I'm about to say. Be willing to do some free photo shoots and do some free work so you can build your portfolio. Part of it starts with doing stuff for your family. Take some pictures, take some family portraits, offer to do the photography at your dad's birthday party. Do those little things. Be willing to do that stuff without being paid, because this is just to build your portfolio, to build your confidence up, and to also just give you that experience, which is value. And people may not, want to pay what you want at the moment because you are a beginner. So you got to build your portfolio. This is part of my previous tip, but it's doing some free work can help you build your portfolio. When you build your portfolio and you're doing work with models and different things, you don't charge the models for those photos that you take of them. They're doing you a favor. They're most likely, this is a free exchange anyways, it's a barter. But you're giving them photos. you're taking photos of them, give them photos so that they can have their photos because they chose to model for you. But then also once they share those photos, they tag you, and then it just leads to the next thing, you know? Like, it's good. Like, you did something for free and it led to something better. And not every time you do some free work it's going to lead to something right now, but just have it in your spirit to do it, to get the experience, to have, like, to see on the other side the benefit that you're seeking. You have to build rapport. You have to build your portfolio. Do them free photo shoots. Do them low cost photo shoots where it's like you do them for $30. Like, my first photo shoot was $30, y'all. That girl had me out there for 3 hours doing grad pictures. I only charged her for gas because that's what I chose to do. But, you know, I knew that with her, that was going to be the first and last time that my photography ever costed that price. Like, that was the first and last time. That's what it was going to cost to work with me. But I still did it. And it got me experience, and it got me booked for another photo shoot and another photo shoot. I offered to do my friends' grad pictures for free sometimes because I'm like, you're my friend. Of course I'm going to do this. Like, I want to do this for you. Like, I don't even need nothing back. I want to see you succeed. Like, I do stuff for my friends like that because I know that they got me. Because I know that they got me if I need something in the future. But even though it's like, just give sometimes for free without even expecting anything in return. It's going to always come back to you in the best way because you're blessing others. So you're going to get blessed. But don't even anticipate it. Just know you already blessed, one. But then two, you know, just give just to give. Even in conversations, like, you don't have to tell people that you've done it, that you did the work for free. You could just be like, hey, I did my friend's graduation pictures. And you show somebody on, and it's on your portfolio website. Person who you're showing doesn't need to know that you did it for free. They don't know that you did it for free, but they know that you did it. You have the work. It's high quality. They might want to hire you. Like, there's just so many opportunities, but give from the goodness, give from the kindness from your heart, and give when you're able to. Do not overextend yourself. That can be a problem, but yeah, don't overextend yourself with giving. You know, choose when you do and don't want to give. I mentioned this in my last video, but when I got laid off, I was unemployed, kind of struggling, figuring out like what I was going to do to make money. So earlier this year, while I was unemployed, self-employed, I did some free pro bono work where I was volunteering with this really cool event that I really liked. And I just offered to do some photography for them. And from working with them and being around those people and things like that, that is how I found my new job. That is how I found my new job, is from volunteering. Like this, I was volunteering for my photography, and I ended up getting my dream job in the industry that I've been wanting to be in for years from volunteering, y'all. So if that is nothing, if you don't get nothing away, it's build your portfolio, talk to people, network. Like, all of this stuff is so much related. It's kind of layered, and I hope that I laid it out really helpful for you. But like with my journey, I think that these were some of the best things that I didn't even know I was like intentionally or unintentionally doing, or, you know, it's just a part of my way of being. But these things that I was doing when I was like younger and just over the years, and what I choose to continue to do, has really helped me as a photographer. And this is how I was able to like thrive when it was time to do this full time. Instead of having to stress about finding a job and making money like that, I was applying for jobs during this time. But, you know, it ended up being less of a hassle for me during that time as an entrepreneur, even with the economy kind of being in a recession or whatever. Still able to thrive because of these things that I've been doing for years. If you want a written version or a shorter version of this video, I did write a blog post on my website where I put up my tips, and I'll just leave that link below. I also have more tips that I think are better for more intermediate people. So people who already kind of have clients, have a good footing, or, you know, the people who do like maybe a couple shoots a year. I'll make a video about like more intermediate tips that can help people as well, because, you know, like I said, we all have to start somewhere. And I think that having this video as a foundation, having your foundation is your biggest thing as you're going into being a photographer, starting your business, and getting clients. Some of the things I'm going to talk about in the next series, in this next video, are more intermediate tips for people who have been doing this for a bit longer and are kind of ready to move and transition into their next phase of their business, because this is for beginners. But there are people who've already been doing this, already kind of have their foundation and things like that, but want to move into the next level, because there's phases to this, there's levels to this, period, such as, search engine optimization, having a customer relationship management software, and some of the best platforms to use to get clients as a photographer. If you have any questions for me, feel free to reach out to me on Instagram or Twitter. My Instagram is Imani Black Photo. My Twitter is Imani Black Photo. My TikTok is Imani Black Photo. So easy to find. Facebook too. Like this video and subscribe to my channel, because I got more information coming that I think is super helpful for y'all. So you want to stay tuned. You want to stay tuned.